Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to another installment of What Would Big Sis Mandy Do? Before we get into the Q&A, I just want to give a shout out to today's sponsor, which is Psychic Source. Before we get into this video, I want to share a couple of personal things because they connect with some of the questions that you guys ask, which is about feeling uncertain, second guessing yourself, and wondering if you're on the right path. Just like any other person, there has been periods in my life where I felt stuck. On the outside, things do look fine, but internally, I was constantly overthinking, especially around decisions I didn't have clear answers to yet. Keep asking myself, am I forcing things or am I just scared? And honestly, the mental back and forth is always so exhausting. And when I have moments like that, I decided to do a reading with Psychic Source. And when I do these readings, it's not because I want someone to tell me exactly what to do. It's just because I need clarity and, most importantly, grounding. What always stands out for me on the Psychic Source platform is that I can actually choose my psychic based on what I need at the time. I read through profiles. I trust myself. I trust what feels right, basically. And I choose a connection that in a way that feels calm and reassuring. Most of the time during my readings, nothing dramatic happens. It's usually the opposite. A lot of what is said during my readings usually confirm things that I was feeling already deep down, but was just too scared to trust. And that alone always gives me so much peace. I always walk away from my readings feeling lighter, calmer, more confident, and less in my head. This is why I will always use Psychic Source from time to time, not for predictions, but for perspective. With Psychic Source, you can connect with them through chat, call, or video call, which makes it really easy to fit into your life, especially when you just need a moment to pause and check in with yourself. I've been working with Psychic Source for over a year now, and I've benefited greatly from them, from the fact that their readings do start from $1 per minute, which is not really that much expensive when you think about the kind of invaluable insights that you will receive, to the fact that the website is easy to use, so you actually don't spend too much time. And also another thing that I do like is that your money starts counting down as soon as the psychic that you have chosen starts the chat. So you don't get charged just to be on the website. You don't get charged the minute you choose the psychic. You actually get charged the minute that the psychic starts the conversation. And also what I do like about it is that you can see how when your coins are decreasing. So you have the option to either add more money or ask the questions that you actually really want to ask, so you don't continue wasting your time. As mentioned earlier, you can connect with them through chat, video call, or telephone. If you feel like you want to hear a voice, you can use the telephone. If you want to see the person that you're speaking to, you can video chat, or if you are like me, you just want to type so you can process and also reflect a little bit later, then you have the option to chat, which for me is the best AI generation of options, and having options is what's important to me, and I think you too. So you have that option. You also have an option to choose a psychic, a tarot reader, an astrologist, a medium, based on what you're feeling in the moment, or based on the kind of information that you want to hear in that moment. I would suggest that you do a little bit of your own research as to, depending on the question, who to get. I've used psychics, tarot readers, and astrologists, but I think most of the time I use astrology. I'm a big astrologer girl. I'm a Cancer. I believe in astrology, so for me, I always use astrologists because I connect more. But if you want to use a medium to speak to someone who's transitioned, you can. If you want to use a psychic to speak to someone, to speak to you and your intuition, you can. There's also tarot readers as well. So the options are endless, and that's what I do love. On the website, before you even choose your advisor, you can get to see how many stars they have. You get to read their reviews, so you go into it knowing exactly what to expect and how your preferred advisor has been reviewed and rated. So if you are someone who enjoys journaling, self-reflection, or spiritual check-ins, Psychic Source can be a really helpful tool for you. But if you are curious but also hesitant, because I do know that it's not something we all believe in, so I can imagine the hesitation, Psychic Source do offer new user specials and discounts, so that gives you the opportunity to explore without pressure. I'll leave my link here and also on the description box for if you want to check it out, which I strongly suggest that you do. And as always, take what resonates, leave what doesn't, and trust your intuition first. Thank you to Psychic Source for sponsoring this video. Let's get into our Q&A of What Would Big Sis Mandy Do? You guys, every time I put this question up, I'm always so shocked at the questions that I get back. Shocking that you guys trust me so much, but it's also quite humbling, so I'm very happy about that. So we have a lot of questions both from YouTube and TikTok. I do think that this video is going to be in 2 parts, so if I don't read out your question here, I will read it in the next video, which will be up probably a day after this one. Let's get into it. Okay, so number 1, did you end up getting your gland removed? I also suffer from a reoccurring warfarin cyst. If so, how's it going? No, mama, I did not. Unfortunately, my boil popped before I could go home. But if you do suffer from it, please check it out. Go to your doctor, your gynae. I'm sure even your GP can help with that. And I know gynaes can be a bit expensive. Please check it out. It's very, very difficult to have anything that is down there. Actually, anything at all health-wise, but if it's down there, whew, trust me, I know the pain. Please see your doctor. What would Mandy do if baby daddy efuna nithandana kodwa washada ukhona? Akanye perhaps. Washada ngikhona. So you want to make me a side chick? You want to make you washada ngikhona. It's not that umthole shadile. Washada ngikhona. You left me and went and married another woman. Now you want to come back and you want to make me a side chick. Firstly, that baby daddy doesn't respect you. So keep it cute and keep it about the baby. Screw that man, he doesn't respect you. And if, please, I know love, I know inhliziyo ayiphakelwa, but you thinking about it or you even going back to it, trust me, from someone who has done it, it screams you don't fully love yourself as yet. So don't entertain it, don't go back to him, keep it co-parenting. Uyanya or baby daddy, and he doesn't respect he doesn't respect you, he doesn't respect the woman that he married, he doesn't love you, he doesn't love the woman that he married, he just loves himself. So for your own sanity, keep it co-parenting. Uyahlanya. My daughter is irritated already, I'm mad already, and I'm only on question 2. Don't go back to that man. And also, with that being said, I do know that men use children as a weapon. I hope that in this case, he continues being a father. I hope you don't go back to him. If you don't go back to him, men do like using children as weapons. I've experienced that when someone was just like, oh, you're dating, so take care of your child, then ask your man to take care of your child. I do know that men like to do that. I hope in your case he doesn't. If he does, take him to court. Kisha Berry says, hey Auntie Mandy, I'm 17 and I've been watching you for the past 2 years. I really enjoy your content. Thank you. You've been watching me since you were 15. Also, you're my daughter, basically. Yeah, Alonda's actually 17 going on 18. Yes. Are you excited about Alonda being in Matric? I'm in Matric too. I am excited, but I think what I'm more excited about is her being in varsity. And I think why I'm more excited about her being in varsity is because I'm hoping that she applies at WITS or UP. I know that WITS is in her radar. I don't think UP is, but I do think UCT is also in her radar. So I do hope that she applies at universities in Gauteng, so at least she is at least an hour away from me. Matric, she must have fun. She must go on her matric dance. She must focus. But I think I'm excited for her, but I'm excited more for myself. Guys, I'm so pretty. I'm excited more for myself for when she goes to varsity. Actually, even if she chooses to go to UCT, that would be nice because then I have a reason to go to Cape Town whenever I feel like it or whenever I have money for it. Lau the designer says, sometimes I really want to leave social media altogether, but the thought of not seeing Mandy, my good sis, I'll hang around, man. Girl, I also sometimes want to leave social media, but the thought of not being able to connect with you guys, can't. So hey twin, relate. I relate. This one says, hey Mandy, I've made an expensive mistake. In 2024, when my partner X now was unemployed, I decided to take a loan and buy a car that we can do business with. The idea that the car would pay itself, but unfortunately the business didn't work and it fell off. I currently stay with that man. We have kids together, even though we're no longer together. The loan takes a big chunk of my salary and I can't afford to get my own place. Whenever I ask for the car back or that we sell it so I can pay the loan, he refuses. We end up fighting and it gets physical. Stupid me put the car in his name. For what reason, Namangas? Worst part is that I don't even have a car myself. I see him picking up different women in a car that I'm struggling to pay. If you stop paying for the car, won't the bank repossess it? Okay, there's someone who answered here. Yes, Kimo says to stop paying for the car, your credit record will take a knock, but you can at least rent a place for you and your kids. And she says, no, unfortunately, it's a personal loan. It's not a vehicle finance. It's a personal loan. If I stop paying, they'll blacklist me and so forth. I've thought about of doing that since the money is tight, but I also don't want to have a bad credit. And let me tell you something. I have worked for the two, I think there are 3 credit bureaus in South Africa, and I've worked for the 2 out of the 3. The contract job that I just left now, I was working for TransUnion. You know, I can say it now. I think especially for the purpose of answering this, I was working for TransUnion, and before that I've worked for Experian. Those are I think there are 3 in South Africa, if not just the 2, but I've worked for the 2 credit bureaus in South Africa. And yes, your credit score will take a knock, but you can also fix that. I don't know how it works though, since guys, if you have information on this, please let me know. Please drop in the comment section. But I'm coming from someone who's worked for the bureau. Yes, your credit score will take a knock, but you can fix that up in a year or 2. I don't know how old you are, but you can always start over. I would definitely stop paying for the car. Unfortunately, because you took a personal loan, so I guess you bought the car cash. Oh, you bought the car cash. It's not a vehicle finance. And he's picking up other women in the same car. And you live with him. Why do you live with him? Why do you live with him? A and B. This one is tricky. This one is tricky because you bought the car cash. You took a loan. It's not a vehicle finance. If it was a vehicle finance, Mama, I was going to say, go get that bitch repossessed. This one's tough. This one's really, really tough. But why do you live with him? I think I'd like to know. I don't care if he's your baby daddy. Why do you continue living with him? This man clearly does not care about you. And I'm sorry that you... Firstly, you seem like you've learned your lesson, but I do think that Uguti, outside me not being able to answer you properly here, and what would I do? I've always been stingy with money, so I've taken care of a man in a way that I lived with my ex and I was paying the rent. I had a car and he didn't, but he never drove my car. I've always been a very stingy person when it comes to men because I was raised to be told that men must patriarch. Patriarchy is here for the men. Why are men failing at a system that was built for them? So I've always taken that in with see, as a man, why are you failing? As a man, why are you struggling to make money? And before the boy moms come here and attack me for my views on men, please don't forget that before you became a boy mom, you are a woman first. The world is built for men to succeed. So I hate seeing my sisters taking out loans for these men. And you're not alone, baby girl. I've gone on TikTok. There's so many stories like these. So many stories of women taking loans for businesses for their boyfriends. We've spoken about this so many times that you will not be Bob the Builder. But since you already are, I don't know why you are living with him. Maybe it's also a financial thingy. But if he's not doing anything, what is he bringing to the table? He must leave. And guys, I don't know what I would do if I was in this situation, because the car is in his name. You took a loan, which means you bought the car cash. You can't instruct the bank to come take the car. You have to pay this loan. I would call the bank and ask them for a payment plan. I would, if your loan was over a 36-month period and you're really, really struggling financially, I would extend my loan to make it a 48-month period so that the monthly installment is decreased a little bit while you figure yourself out and find a way. And once you get yourself in a better financial position, you pay it back. But I think that worrying about, or the reason why I mentioned the companies I've worked for is because people worry a lot about their credit scores. A credit score is something you can fix. I think so putting yourself in a situation where it gets physical, this guy hits you. I would rather you take a knock on your credit score. I would rather you have a credit score that's sitting on 200 than for you to lose your life. So call the bank, ask them to decrease the installment and increase the term, even if they increase the interest, and get yourself out of there. I don't know why you're still living with this man, but clearly there must be a reason why you're still living with him. That makes sense. But you need to get yourself out of there before he gets you out of this world. Nothing is worse than a broke, unemployed man. No one is angrier than a man who cannot provide. And the fact that he already puts his hands on you is already a problem. My suggestion is to call the bank. Stop worrying about your credit score. That's the least of your problems right now. Your credit score will definitely take a knock. Take it from me, but it's something you can fix. Fix yourself right now and those children. Get yourself out of that situation. Get yourself out of that house. It's fine. You can let him keep the car. Let him do whatever he needs to do. But please get yourself out of that house. Your credit score is nothing compared to you losing your life. Someone who puts his hands on you will kill you. I hope that you are okay. I hope that you have a support system. I hope that you're not in a place where you are alone, literally alone. Take your kids out of there. Talk to your bank. Get your kids out of there and start over, babe. Forget about your credit score at this point. That should be the least of your problems. Your safety first. And to that man, fuck him. And to any other woman who's watching this, who's young, do not ever help a man. No matter what, do not ever help a man. He can come on his knees, crying, begging, pleading. Do not help a man. Men should not be able to ask for help from women. It's a patriarchal world. And another thing, you help these men, you take a loan for him, and he still expects you to cook and clean. You will not be a submissive provider. Do not ever help a man, no matter what. A man should have his shit together before he comes to you as a woman. It's okay if you've already done it. I've done it before. Obviously, mine was not intense. Mine was just letting a man live with me. Until this day, I'm disgusted with myself. But it's fine. I was 21. If you are still young and you're in love and you think that man is going to be the love of your life, I don't even care if he is the love of your life. Actually, he's not. The love of your life will never put you in a position where you have to kick him out of pocket and suffer. Your love of your life will never do that. The husband that God has sent to you will never put you in this position. So do not let to my younger sisters, do not let these men come to you with sob stories. Men they built the system. They must live in it. Do not let utando didis. I'm sorry, my baby, that you're going through this, but I hope that you can I would call the bank. As mentioned, I will call the bank and ask them to increase the number of years that the loan can be taken over or refinance the loan, something. But you need to get yourself out of there. This man is already hitting you. And this man is already out with other women. I don't know if you're still sleeping with him, but I hope that you're not, for your own sake. Let me breathe, guys. I'm sorry. I've got triggered. Let me breathe. BRB. Okay. We're back. Oh guys, I'm sorry, I got triggered and I meant every word that I said. Don't help that man. Don't help that man. Anyway. Hi Mandy, Lady Blue says, hi Mandy, I'm a silent content creator and you have really inspired many of us women to keep fighting and pushing through the battle and tears. I'm a single mother of 5 and you and your family are power people. Oh, thank you. And I pray you keep vlogging for the next generation to come. I'm going to try. One question is, do you see any men to be serious? And do you think they have become the tail and not the head? That's crazy that this question comes after that. There are men that I've dated in my life that I take serious, and I do think that there are men going into my future that I will date and take serious. But when you say, do you think they have become the tail and not the head? When were men heads? Even if you go back 60 years from now, your grandmother ran the house. I don't think men were ever heads of the households. I think our grandmothers and mothers have always run the household, even with your dad and grandfather being there. I just think that now women are more vocal. So that's why we're starting to think that men are becoming the tails. I feel like men have always been tails. Imagine being such a... Okay, let me not. I know the boy moms are going to come for me. I do believe that men have always been tails, but because they needed some sort of power, they are self-proclaimed heads of the house. I do believe, though, which there are men out there who are really heads of the house, financially. Even when it comes to decision making, when it comes to, they are present. I do believe they are present husbands and present boyfriends, present fathers. I do believe, but it's it's a minority, I think. I think when I listen to even some of the married women that I know, you're just like, you're the head of your household, though. Why is there a man there if you are doing everything, when you listen to your grandmothers speak. Women have always been, the matriarch have always been in the forefront of everything. It's just that now with social media and women not giving a fuck about men anymore, and women having their own monies and having their own things. Unfortunately, back then, our grandmothers didn't have their own things, so they were forced to follow the lead of the men because men were the only ones who could work. But now that obviously the matriarch is rising, women are not scared anymore to come out and talk about these things. So I think that women have always been heads of their homes. It's just that now women talk more. And my goals for 2026, I just want to be, the other day my sister was asking me, what are your goals? I just want to be happy. What's it? Time's up, Beyonce. I just want to glow up. I want to have a banging body. That's why every vlog you see, I'm in the gym. I'm going to continue being a badass mom and taking care of my kids. And I'll continue taking space in this YouTube world. Okay. So hey Mandy, I just love how positive you are even with all the challenges coming your way. I've been watching your channel since the beginning, all the way from California. And she says, why are you up this early? I mean, if you're in California, I've got a delivery, BRB, back. You're in California, so I assume that we have what, an 8-hour difference? So that's, to you I was early, this side I was on time. I am not a morning person, so I'll never be that early. Okay, sicela kuhle Nkabinde says, hi Amanda, because you value birthdays so much and your love language is acts of service, I wanted to ask, when friends gift you on your birthday, do you measure it against what you've given them before, or do you focus more on the thought behind the gesture rather than the value? I focus more on the thought. I completely sometimes forget what my friends gave me the previous year. It's always the thought. And also I'm very vocal about what I want for my birthday. Like, I'm one of those people who, I don't know if you guys are too, but I'm one of those people who have a wish list on my WhatsApp status. Like 2 months before my birthday, I do a wish list every week, and have like perfume, a bag, whatever, So by the time my friends gift me, I already know what they're going to be gifting me with because I told them. So I'm not shy. Okay, Uzama Jola says, being a mom to a teenager, how do you feel, Sana? How do you deal, Sana? Do you feel part of Alwanda's behavior was due to her father's absence? My daughter cries for the smallest reason, and I feel like her father's absence is the reason. She's 10 now, and it hurts. Yes, 100%. 100%. Not to take away any blame from me, because I'm not a perfect parent, but 100%, Children carry wounds that obviously they don't even know themselves how to articulate, With Alwanda, it was really, really difficult. I saw Alwanda's behavior changed after her father told her that he didn't want to be her father because he was parenting his boys, So for me, that's when I saw the change. But at that time, I didn't attribute it to him. I just thought Alwanda is becoming a preteen. She was a tween. Yeah, she was 12 and she was about to become a teenager. I just felt like, this is normal teenage behavior, whatever. And two things could be true. It was probably normal teenage behavior, and also it was the impact that her father left, that father wound left in her. So 100%, even when in therapy, Alwanda and I have been in therapy for some time, it comes up. What's your biggest issue? Why do you hate your mother? And then obviously as a child, she won't say, I hate her because, but in her answers, you realize, oh, this is just misdirected anger. You're really just angry at your father, but you don't have access to him. So you're going to point all your guns to the parent that's here. So I 100% blame him. It is 100% his fault. But also, I also think about the fact that Alan is a teenager, and I'll never forget to remember reading this thing, on Twitter years ago, before my child was even a teenager. This girl was just like, there's a good 5 years. There's a good 5-year period that you just hate your mom. You just hate your mom. And I think that 5-year period as a girl, I don't know with boys. I've seen my friends with boys. It seems like boys are more attached to their mothers, but I've seen with my friends with girls that we all struggle the most. But then I hope you find comfort in the fact that girls always come back to their mothers. So think about you. When did you start becoming close to, when did you start seeing mom as your mom as a nice person or a cool person? Probably in your 20s, you know, in your early 20s, mid 20s. I started liking my mom also more in my 20s. I started liking her more in my 30s. I'm in my 30s now, and I'm just like, oh my god, like this girl is so cool. But like, what was I saying now? I derailed. Yes. This girl was saying that there's a good 5-year period where she just hated her mom, and that period apparently starts from, is it 14 to 19 years old. So that, for me, when I heard that, I was just like, oh, okay, so it's normal, you know, it's going to be normal should it happen to me. And it kind of did happen, but then I always had that in the back of my mind. But luckily, Alwanda and I do go to therapy together and separately, so it kind of gives us an idea of what the other person is thinking. Your daughter is 10. If you have the finances to take her to a clinical psychologist, please do. If there's one at school, please do. And if she's got an absent father, obviously at this age, you know, Milani started wanting her father when she was 3. You know, so at this age, everyone has a dad and you don't. There's a lot of things that are probably just going through her mind and probably just making her feel some type of way. And what my therapist also told me is that children cannot comprehend, their brains cannot accept rejection. So for them, that's why our children, that's why I'm blaming Alwanda's father, because it was rejection from him that has turned her like this. And because children can't accept rejection, they create stories in their heads, and some of those stories can really, really be dangerous, not only for you as the mother, but for themselves. So she's at an age where she, not only can she not comprehend rejection from her father, she's not supposed. So if you do have the finances, do take her to a clinical psychologist. If there is one at her school, I hope there's one at her school. I think every school has one. Please try and book with her. We need to tackle my lesson learned from the Alwanda situation. Alwanda only started therapy when she was 14, 15. I wish that we had started sooner. So 10 years old is the perfect age. She's going through her own emotions, going through her own feelings. Allow her, but also give her a safe space, but also please, if you can afford it, please think of enrolling her into with a therapist or a clinical psychologist or the counselor at school. They do amazing work as well. Kabelo says, hey sis, I just finished my matric last year and this is my first year in varsity. Any advice? Ungamiti. Kabelo. Ungafani nam. Don't be like me. Don't fall pregnant. Don't fall pregnant. You can come back from anything but pregnancy. But I mean, jokes aside, not a joke. Please don't. Take care of your sexual health. The nice thing about varsity is that they have I think all varsities do, they have a clinic inside, you know. Go on the contraceptive. I mean, I would prefer you use condoms if you are engaging in sexual activities. Please use condoms. But you know, sometimes things happen. But please go on the contraceptive. Take care of your sexual health. Also, something I wish I started in varsity, and my varsity offered it, because I lived on campus at TUT. There's a gym. There was a gym. I think all campuses, if you live on campus. If not, I think I've never lived in an outside race. I don't know. But make use of the gym. Make use of the library. Ungabi saying twain. Obviously, make amazing friendships. You know, gravitate towards like-minded girls, but ungaphaphi. Ungaphaphi, ungamethi. And I'm 37. I don't know how long you've been here, but I'm turning 37 this year, and every time I go outside, there's still boys. Our parents were not lying, bebethi abafana bapheli. Obumnandi abapheli, ukupheli. So boys, there's a surplus of them. Every time, when I tell you that I'm turning 37, and every time I go outside, there are boys. I'm 37, and every time I go outside, there's ubumnandi, there's a club, there's things. Obviously, do have age-appropriate fun. But just know that there's a world out there that's waiting for you. And just do the right thing. Study, pass, continue studying. Also, don't be a raised wife. Don't be a raised wife. If you date good, date for fun, and most importantly, take care of your sexual health. The Village Girl Farmer says, hey Mandy, have you watched Makumo's interview on Lungelo's podcast? If you have, I'd like to hear your big sis take on it. I have. I say this, I will preface this by saying, I understand that Kumo is young. She says she's 27. But with that being said, I do not like how some married women speak down on women who are not married just because now they are married. Kumo spoke down on her mother. The way she spoke about her mother just because her mother's not married. I did not like that. I also don't like, there's nothing about that interview that I liked. But with that being said, I don't want to be too harsh on her because she is young. The fact that she proudly says that she's going to call girls because she finds them on her man's phones. I can't believe a 27-year-old said that. Yes, maybe if a 57-year-old said that, okay. You're going to call girls until when? She's like, yeah, I'll deal with my husband, but I'll also deal with you. Why are you dealing with a stranger? Also, why are you staying with the man? I don't like it when it's young women who are continuing with this narrative of when these men cheat on you. Because clearly she stayed. The way that she was talking in that interview, in not so many words, she was saying that her man cheated on her and she stayed. I don't know if she actually said it, I can't remember. But her saying, Guti, I've called girls and I will continue calling girls means, Guti, this man has cheated on her and she stayed. But now she's going on a very big platform to continue this narrative of staying with these men that cheat on you. And not only staying with them, that's your prerogative if you want to stay. But not only are you staying with them, you're terrorizing other women. For Tabang. I don't have a take, baby. That interview bored me. But with that being said, she is young. I do hope that she will grow into the woman that she's meant to be and she grows out of this mindset. And I hope that she clearly loves marriage. From that interview you can see, I hope that one day she sees her worth and remarries to a man that actually sees her too. Because it seems like that man, the whole of South Africa knows I'm Tabang. Yeah. I don't have a take. Yeah. Oh, Janet says, what would Mandy do if you struggle with being in a relationship with men? I don't see they're important apart from sex. Sometimes I feel used as a woman in case sex happens. I'm a single mother of one. I'm 33. I don't think there's anything wrong with how you see them. I worry about the fact that you say you feel used should sex happen because that should be something that you also enjoy and also want. There was a period in my life after I broke up with the guy that I lived with, my ex, I was with for 5-6 years. So between breaking up with him and meeting Milani's dad, all I did was use men for sex. All I did was regain my sexual, what is this word I'm looking for? All I did was I just had fun with. I had fun with men. I didn't see them for anything beyond that. So I might be biased by saying, I don't see there's anything wrong with you seeing men just for sex. Some women see men just for money. Some women see men as their gods. We all have placed men in different parts of our lives depending on our experience and other women's experiences, and just depending on how you see them. I just worry about the fact that sometimes you feel used. You should enjoy sex as much as he does, and if then you're in that space, maybe then try having sex with yourself rather first and explore your own body. I don't know how to get out of that feeling of feeling used. Maybe have sex with someone you actually really like. But I mean, if you don't see them beyond sex, I don't know how you would get to know them to like them. But I don't think there's anything wrong with not being able to be in a relationship with a man. That's not an end or be all. I don't think that everyone should be in a relationship with them. If it doesn't feel right to you, it doesn't. I know women who've been celibate for 7-8 years. I know, especially on TikTok, there's these ladies who, I'm in my 50s and the last time I slept with a man I was 35, So I don't see that. I don't think there's anything wrong, and I hope that no one's making you feel bad for not being able to be in a relationship with a man. Like, and I don't see anything wrong with seeing them for sex, or seeing them for money, seeing them for humans, seeing them for a boyfriend, a husband. We just all have different ways we see them. But as mentioned, I do worry that you feel used. I don't know how you can get out of that feeling, but I would suggest exploring your own body by yourself, and maybe also your mindset. Remember that sex is for you as well. I know that as women, for a longest time, we've been made to feel as if sex is something that happens to us and not something that we do. The fact that women say things like, I gave my virginity to him, it's, you know, it's that kind of language, the purity culture, I gave my virginity to him. We've been made to think that sex is for the man. Sex is supposed to be a consensual activity between two adults, and you're also supposed to enjoy it. So explore your own body, have sex with yourself, and maybe try to have sex with someone you actually like. I think that as someone who's been very explorative with my body between the two relationships that I've mentioned, and now I'm big on exploring your own sexual preferences, your own sexual. Also, Janet, have you ever tried being with a woman? Maybe you're meant to be with a woman, you know. I date both. I like both. So maybe explore your sexuality. Explore your sexuality, explore yourself, and good luck. Nonhlakanipo says, hey Mandy, since sometimes history repeats itself, what conversations are you having with Owawa to ensure she doesn't find herself 19 in tertiary and pregnant? I'm asking because my ex-best friend fell pregnant in varsity, and her mom had her at 16, and when her mom noticed that she was pregnant, she just broke down and cried. And as we are getting closer to the age that you fell pregnant with her, how are you feeling about it? Yes, history does repeat itself, ne? I truly believe that. And guys, if I'm having these conversations with you, trust me, conversations with my kids, I will never be this open with strangers when I'm not open with the people close with me. So sexual conversations between Ayolanda and I started happening when she was 10. When she started, you know, I remember the first conversation she asked me was, is it possible to like both girls and boys? So I was just like, oh, okay, we need to start then. So we've had sexual conversations, we've had safe sex conversations and stuff like that. But with that being said, I don't sometimes believe, I know that history repeats itself. I know, I've seen it in different situations. But I don't sometimes believe in like that generational curse. I tried to look at the positive. As much as, yes, I had my first child, I was pregnant at 18. I was still the first one to go to school. Varsity, I'm still the first one to graduate at home. So instead of me thinking that Alwanda is going to take over or take after the bad stuff, why can't I think that she's going to take after the good stuff that I've done, you know? But I do understand what you're saying. History does repeat itself, but the conversations are very different. The conversation that my mom had with me about sex and the conversation I have with my daughter about sex are very, very different. And I'm very confident that she's taken it in. A, and B, I believe in abortions, guys. I know that our parents didn't, and they don't, but I believe in abortions, you know, safe abortions. So if there's ever a point where Alonda comes to me and she says, I'm pregnant and I'm not ready to have a child, I will personally take her to Mary Stopes. So I'm not that parent who's just like, hey, I'm a party. No, I believe in safe abortions. I believe in safe sex. I believe in being open with our children. I believe in them knowing that there are options out there, whether it's the contraceptive. As mentioned earlier, I would prefer for everyone to be on the condom because we know what men do outside. But obviously not everyone is going to be on that condom thing. But yeah, like I believe in that. Even now, Alonda's on a contraceptive, but she's on a contraceptive for her skin and her period. She's got like a irregular period, but you won't put a child on a contraceptive without explaining what that is, you know. So the conversations are there. My child and I are quite open about. If you watch a couple of Q&As I've done with Alwande, we talk about sex even in those Q&As. So I do I do believe what you're saying. History does repeat itself, but B, I'm very much why should I focus on the fact that Alwande might take after me when it comes to the pregnancy instead of Alwande taking after me when it comes to graduating, being a badass at what you do, at what your job, having amazing friendships, like, you know, taking the positive from my life experiences. And see, we do, even my mom is a midwife, obviously. the conversations, she's much more open now in life than she was with me. So I'm not the only one having conversations with Alwande. She gets my perspective, she gets my sister's perspective, she gets my mother's perspectives, she gets LO at school perspective, I'm sure she gets her friend's perspective as well. But I think it's very important to have open conversations with our kids. And I think a lot of people think that talking to our kids about sex means we're encouraging them. Kids will have sex whether you know or not. Whether you like it or not, kids are going to have sex, rather than let them be equipped with all the information that is out there that they can get from an adult that they can trust, and an adult that has their best interest at heart. Mandy says, hey Mandy, what would you do if you felt stuck in a marriage? There's no growth year in and year out. You're raising the same concerns, but everything is falling on deaf ears. You know what to do, but you don't have the provision for it. I did ask Umbali Uguti before I answered, do you have a job or a home? So, because you mentioned about you don't have provision for it. Obviously, guys, you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave. That's why I asked about, do you have a job or do you have a home? I've started over from living with a man to living by myself. It was really, really difficult because I was used to sharing bills to now having to take care of everything by myself. I've started over. I know it's not easy, but I had a job, so that's why I'm asking. And if you don't have a job, do you have a home you can go to? I don't think that you need to be stuck in loveless marriages. I don't think that you guys need to be continue to be married to people who have shown that they don't care about you, they don't respect your opinions, they disregard your feelings. You said that you know what to do, you just don't have the provision of it. So it's hard for me to answer this question to my full capacity when I don't know, Oguti, what do you mean you don't have the provision? Do you not have a home to go to? Do you not have a job? But if you do have a job, please, even if you move into a back room, the peace that you'll find is much better than staying in a loveless and no respect marriage. Kamakhala says, hey man, I've been with this guy for 6 years and I don't think I love him anymore. The tricky part is that he's supporting me financially, pays for my tuition, and we have a 1-year-old. He hasn't done anything wrong to me, but na akisalida. Oh, come on. This one's tricky. He pays for your tuition, and he supports you financially, and he's not doing anything wrong. I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't leave. Okay, wait. Before I get to the actual answers, have you done things that would try to get your spark back or your love back? Because he clearly hasn't changed. What has made you fall out of love with him? If he still seems like the same guy who's very responsible with you and your child, have you guys gone on holiday to try to revive that spark that you had and that love that you had? Have you tried everything that you can to make sure that you have you exhausted all options? Because I think in this one, it's really, really difficult because he's doing everything right. He's doing everything that we want men to do. He's there for you financially. He's obviously a father. He's a present father. And as you say, he didn't do anything wrong. For me, before throwing in the towel, I would try to do everything in my power to love him again, to fall in love with him again. And also, if you don't love him anymore, someone changed. Did he change, or did you? It sounds maybe you have changed, you've grown, you've evolved, and maybe he hasn't. But he seems like he's a good man, Savannah. But yeah, I would first exhaust all my options. I would try to go on holiday together without the child. I would try to have date nights. I would try to relearn him and get to know him again. And if all fails, then release him. I would hate to be with someone who says to me, Amanda's perfect. She cooks, she cleans, she takes care of me emotionally, mentally, she's amazing, but I just don't love her anymore. And that person's still staying and reaping the benefits that I come with. I would hate to be with someone who speaks about me that way, without speaking to me first. And yeah, have you tried everything? Have you, do you have sexy time? Are you still attracted to him even? But like I would go on a short-lived holiday with him, travel can do so much for people, you know. I would try to learn him again, rediscover myself with him again, and if all else fails, then I would release him. Okay, Naturally Glamorous says, hi Mandy, I love your content a lot. Thank you. Please talk contraceptives, maybe the ones you've tried and would recommend. I have only been on, I've been on the pill, but it was to, I'm anemic, so it was to just control my periods. That was way before I even thought about having sex. I was a child, so it wasn't for a contraceptive, but I've been on the pill just to control my periods. And then I've only been then on the 3-month depot injection when I was living with my ex, and it was horrible. It was horrible. I lost my libido. I was cranky. My hormones were crazy. I was moody. I got so fat. I went from a size 28 to a size 36 in a year. I was big. I was probably a size 38 even. I just didn't like myself, you know, and I eventually quit it. And after I left him, as mentioned earlier, between him and Milani's dad, I was in the streets, so obviously I was using protection. And then when I met Milani's dad, then I got off the protection, and then I had a child. And getting off the protection, which is the condom, was for me the biggest mistake of my life. I mean, I love my child, she's here, but like, had my child, and since then I've been with my ex, well, 2 of my exes, I guess, both incoming rappelling and original rappelling. And since Milani's died, I learned my lesson. I do not have unprotected sex anymore. Like, I'm not on any contraceptive anymore. I haven't been on a contraceptive in over 10 years, but I am not on any contraceptive and never will be on any other contraceptive, because I'm a believer in a condom. I know that a lot of people obviously don't use condoms. Obviously I've been one of them. I've got 2 kids, but I believe that the best contraceptive is a condom. I used to work for this health institute called ANOVA. Our biggest job was to supply clinics. Like, I think we used to work with a lot of clinics in Shawela, Zola, I was always in Soweto, to supply clinics with ARVs and teach people about HIV/AIDS. And obviously when you work in an environment like that, you are exposed to the numbers, you're exposed to stats, you're exposed to people who are living with HIV/AIDS, and you're exposed to stories as well. And it's so crazy how married women would come and talk about how they got HIV in their marriages. And we know that men do not like to use condoms. A man will meet you today and want to have sex with you today, and they'll say something, oh, you look clean. So I do believe that everyone should be using a condom, because it is dangerous out there, especially married women. I think married women should be on condoms. Married women should be on PrEP. And even though PrEP is not going to protect you from STIs and pregnancy, but I think for me, the contraceptive talk is always so crazy, because pregnancy is the least of your worries when it comes to what men do out there, you know. But I do understand that obviously if you're trying for a baby, you wouldn't be taking contraceptives. The biggest contraceptive I can advise is the condom. But if all else fails, then I definitely wouldn't recommend depot. As a result, I think I've seen a couple of, was it last year or the year before, that women who were on depot are now suffering from cancer. There's just too many side effects. I know someone who uses the patch, and she lives by it. She loves it. No, she always says that there are no side effects. Obviously the patch is just that you put it on your lower body, on your bum. So it's your left cheek, right cheek, and your uterus, your womb, your bladder. I don't know what it is. So I do know someone who's on the patch, and she lives by it, and she's been on the patch for years. Also the pill. I think I do know someone else who's on the pill. It's just that the pill gets dangerous, because you miss it. Girls, you're gonna be pregnant. But yeah, I think that without derailing your question, I've mentioned the contraceptives that I've used and know of, but I do think that everyone should be using condoms, guys. Like, men are not good people. Men cheat on their wives, men cheat on their girlfriends, and when they cheat, they don't use protection. Trust me, they don't. Trust me, they don't. I have a baby from it, you know. So we don't know what your husband is telling other women out there. You don't know what your man is telling other women out there. Obviously, they lie and they say they're not married. They don't have this and they don't have that. And as a woman, now you're gullible. Maybe you're desperate or whatever it is. You fall for it. But in the longest relationship I've had now, which was 2 years, that ended now in December with original rappelling. I mean, TMI, but there's never one time that it was always with a condom. So I know it's possible. I know, because a lot of people are just like, oh, condoms are fine, maybe for like the first month, and then once you know each other, right? No. I did it for 2 years, and I will do it again, even if I date someone for 5 years, even if I date someone for 10 years. It's doable. I implore you to just use the condom for your own sake. A child is the least of your worries. A child is the least of your worries. But if you insist on not using a condom, do look at other forms of contraceptive. Talk to your doctor. But yeah, the only ones that I know that wouldn't recommend is the Depo, and no, definitely wouldn't recommend that for any woman. Hi Mandy, thank you for being my Netflix and chill in Namibia. What would you do if 2 of your friends stop being friends, but now you are a friend to both of them? It's hard to even meet up with them or tell them you saw the other ex-friend because they want to know what did the other person say. Oh, tricky. I've been in this situation, but not as you, as the friend who's not the friend, as the ex-friend. I've been in that situation. Ooh, what is this? As the ex-friend. I've been there, and I'm not gonna lie, I do get curious as to what they spoke about, but I had to really remember to trust the mutual friend that they don't talk about me. Because also another thing, when I would sit with the mutual friend wouldn't say shit about the other person, which means that I feel comfortable enough that they don't talk about me either, you know. But it is very difficult not to want to know what the other person is doing, especially since we were friends. You though, in the position that you are in, if I was in that position, because I was on the other side, I would set a very strong boundary between the 2 friends. I would literally sit with them separately, obviously, because they don't get along, and I'd tell them, but please do not ask me about the other person, and trust me. And I also reassure them, to the other person, we are not talking about you. If the other person does bring up the other person, shut it down quick. We do not talk about her, you know. But you're gonna have problems because, and also in that boundary setting, do also tell them how important both of them are to you, because you are going to have a birthday where you want both of them to come. You will have a wedding where you want both of them to come, and they need to be able to be in the same room without having to scream. I was in the situation, and the mutual friend had a kiddies party, and she invited obviously both of us. I didn't ask if the other person was going to be there. I just assumed that she was going to be there because she's also still friends with this person. I just told myself, when I get there, I'm going to sit on the other end of the table, because it's funny, it's not like there's 3 of us at the party. It's a party, so if she's sitting there, I'm going to sit on the other side. I don't want drama. Nothing, no drama is going to happen. Then when I get to the party, I see that, to the mutual friend's party, I see that the other friend is not there. So I'm just like, where's your friend? And she was just like, oh no, she was just like, if you're coming, she's not coming. That's fucking childish. That's childish. And that's what I said to the mutual friend, Uguti, your friend doesn't like you because you're not going to come to a kiddies party just because I'm there. I didn't even ask if she's coming or not. I just told myself, you know. So it's up to you then to have that strong boundary to say, Uguti, I love you both and I respect you both, and I need you guys to you don't even have to get along, but you need to be able to be in the same space. So you need to set a very strong boundary with both of them. Don't allow one to talk about the other and vice versa, and you don't talk to them about each other. It's simple, lento, but it's tricky also. Leisha says, hey sis Mandy, how do you stay open to giving romantic relationships a chance? Because I'm a lover girl. And also, as much as I don't see men, I do think there are good men out there. I've dated good men. I'm not gonna lie. I've dated good men. And And also, like, you know, sometimes I have years where I just don't feel like being with anyone. Sometimes I have times where I'm just like, a relationship would be nice, and then I go outside and go get myself a relationship. But I think the same way, guys, I don't allow, when a friendship hurts me, I don't allow it to then make me stop wanting to be friends with other people. I won't allow a man, oh my god, I would die before a man thinks he's won because he hurt me and now I could never date. Imagine, gives me nice time. Ooh, guys, you know, umjolo, yeah, dinner sometimes, but umjolo with the right person at the right time, very, very nice. Imagine not going on vacations, not going on dates, not receiving flowers, not getting random 2,000 here and there just because I was hurt by some dusty dude 2 years ago. Never. And also, I like love. I like to love, and I like being loved, like just like the next person. I just don't allow previous experiences to change my mind about how I feel about something that I feel strongly about. Okay, this one's quite long. She says, "Hi Mandy, I'm a Sabi from Botswana. I'm a single mom to a 7-year-old daughter, and her deadbeat father started calling her late last year through my mom because she stays full-time with my daughter, okay? Plus, I haven't spoken to this guy in years, so he has no business calling me, granted. And to be honest, I was so happy that he finally stepped up. Valid. Now the problem is the inconsistency and empty promises. He is always promising to buy my daughter stuff and come visit, but guess what? He never shows up. This guy last saw his child when she was only 2 years old in a parking lot for 5 minutes. His mother also the same, so I guess he gets it from his mama. Yeah. I want my daughter to have a relationship with her dad, and I don't care about his money because we have been doing fine for the past 7 years. But this dad thing is affecting my daughter because that's all she speaks about these days. She now thinks her dad doesn't love her because he never comes to want to see her. I want to ask my mom to block them or tell them never to contact us or go the legal route. This is going to be tough because the court process needs time and my schedule at work is tight. I work in the mining industry. So what would Sis Mandy do? Begezela for the sake of Ngwana or cut them off? I need to pee. This one, I'm going to tell you what my therapist told me. I've said it on this channel before, but I'm saying it again specifically for you and all the mummies who are in the same position. Because you know, guys, with Milani's dad, I'm in the same position here. BRB. I need to go pee and I need to warm my tea. And also, I do think this video is already long. So let this be the last question. It's a lot of questions. Let this be the last question. Okay, maybe we can do 2 more. Yeah, let's do 2 more. Let me go warm my tea and pee. Let's do 2 more questions after this one. But I'm coming for you. Hilda, I'm coming for you. Okay, I'm back. I've been refreshed my makeup. Oh, just my lips. Okay, in this situation, Hilda, I've spoken about this on this channel, but I'm going to say it again. I've got 2 kids with 2 deadbeats. I would call Milani's dad a semi-deadbeat, but he is a deadbeat. The first child, I did what I was advised to do, but Abantu Abadala society and everyone at large just cut him off. I had this thing that's this saying that I've heard before, saying that an absent father is better than an inconsistent one, up until that absent father infiltrated my relationship with my daughter. Earlier on, someone asked me if I believe that Alwanda's behavior is due to her father, and I said that it is. So what my therapist told me is that, as I mentioned earlier, children do not have the ability to comprehend rejection. So when you cut him off, he becomes he becomes whatever the child wants him to be. And what my therapist told me is that children will create a narrative about the absent father, whether you say something about it or not. So in the case of Alwande created a narrative in her head that I was the problem. She created a narrative in her head that I'm the reason why her father is not around. She created a narrative in her head that her father is the superhero and I'm just this monster beast that doesn't want him in her life. That was the one side of me cutting him off. That my daughter, because her brain is not wired, not just her brain, a child's brain is not wired to take rejection, so they create stories in their heads to make them feel better about the situation. That's what my daughter did, and I think that's what a lot of children do. The parents that left is always the hero because they can be whoever they want them to be in their heads. That's what happened, and in turn it made our relationship obviously a bit tumultuous because now you hate me because in your head you've decided which your father is a hero, even though your father has told you to your face that he doesn't want you. In your head you've decided Guti, I'm the problem because you have this anger, but you're a child and you don't even know the emotions that you're feeling. So this anger is going to be directed to me because I'm the problem, because of the narrative you've made, understandably so, because you're a child, you are not in a space to be accepting or even understanding what rejection is. So with that being said, I used to believe that an inconsistent, an absent father is better than an inconsistent one up until my therapist told me this. Then with Milani, her dad is inconsistent. The story is exactly like Milani's dad's story. The difference is that Baba Milani keep him out. I remember talking to my therapist and say, should I just cut him off? And my therapist said, well, you can do whatever you want to do, but this is what. Then she explained the Alwande situation. In this case, with the Milani situation, cutting him off is going to create the same thing that had happened with Alwande. So rather keep him. Let him be inconsistent. Let your child see him being inconsistent. Because either way, what my therapist said was, either way, whether he's consistent, inconsistent, or absent, your child is going to create a narrative in her head. Your child is going to create a story in her head that either makes her feel better or see things for what they are. With Alwanda, she created a story in her head that made her feel better and made me the villain. With Milani, the story she'll create in her head is what's in front of her. Milani will always be able to say that, but my dad came to my Father's Day thing. But my dad came to my birthdays, then why couldn't he come for this? But my dad would talk to my mom, but why wouldn't he talk to me? So she'll always have that in her head. And her anger, when she's old enough to understand where that anger should be going to, will go to the right person and will not affect your relationship. So I would say, based on what my therapist have told me and based on my experience, I never want to go through what I went through with Alwande. From the ages of 12 until maybe last year, that's the worst time of my life with that child, and I never want to go through with that again. And luckily for me, I had therapy in between for myself and for her and together, but it has been the most difficult time of my life. And because I don't want history to repeat itself, I'm doing it differently this way with the help of a professional. And what my therapist said makes sense. And not only does it make sense, there's proof. I've had a lot of people here on this channel saying that, oh, my mother allowed me to see my dad for who he is, and as a result, me and my mother laugh about my dad today. I don't know if I'll ever laugh with Alwanda about her dad because I've never allowed her to see him for who he is. You think that cutting him off is protecting your child. It's actually protecting him. Because he can come back here 10 years from now and say, your mother didn't allow me to see you. What proof do you have that you did? I've got YouTube. What proof do you have? You're not documenting everything. You're not documenting all the conversations. He can literally, should you die, touch wood, should you die, he can come back to your daughter and say, I tried and your mother didn't allow me to. And your daughter, because at the time you just want your father's love, you'll accept it. And if you allow him to be inconsistent, your daughter will see. 10 years from now, he could never come and say, your mother didn't allow me to see you, because your daughter will be like, no, she did, and you chose not to. The one thing that hurts the most here is that your 7-year-old believes that her father doesn't love her, which is true. He does not love her. But she's going to grow up believing that she's unlovable, which is the problem. The dad definitely doesn't love her. A man who loves a child would never do that to a child. He doesn't love her at all. But I don't want your daughter to grow up thinking that she's unlovable because of this deadbeat. So what I would do in that situation, which is what I do, I allow Milani's dad to come in and out as he pleases. I allow her to see him for who he is. The other day, she was talking about him and I said, do you want to call him? And she said, no, he's not going to answer anyway. That broke my heart. But it means Milani is seeing things. She's 5 years old. She's very young to be seeing things the way that she is now. But I'll rather it happen. So what I do in the situation, I allow him to come in and out, but I always affirm her. I talk to her every day the same way I talk to Alwande. I used to tell Alwande all the time, Oguti, I knew about abortions when I fell pregnant with you. I didn't have one because I didn't want one. Your dad told me when I was pregnant that he didn't want to be with me. So it's not like I had the child to keep him. I had the child because I wanted you. And no matter how unworthy you feel because of your father never chose you, always remember that your mother did. Your grandmother, your aunties, always remember that your mother's side of your family chose you. You are here because we want you to be here. You are lovable. You are worthy of love. You deserve love, and you will get it as you are getting it. So I'll do the same if how are you. Allow this deadbeat to come in and out so that your child can see him for who he is, so he can never have the opportunity to spin the story, and your child can grow up knowing exactly that mama tried and he just didn't want to. And affirm your baby, affirm your daughter in everything that you do. You can never tell your child enough it's never too much to tell your child that you love them. You can never be too much to tell them how appreciated they are. Even in times where she irritates you, you must always, every time you talk to her, and this goes out to all children, guys, whether your child has a father or not, speak with your children the way you would speak to your younger self. Look at your child. For me, I reparent myself through my children. Look at your child as you being that age. Remember yourself at 7 years old. What did you want? You just want love, you just want affection, and you just want people to notice you and look at you. Do that for your child, and whenever she starts feeling, I felt feelings of unworthiness and not being chosen, not being loved. And for me, all I could do was just reaffirm her every single time. And as mentioned earlier, luckily, I've had the resources of therapy. If you do, take your child to therapy. If maybe not your child, take yourself to therapy so you are equipped to handle the situation better. Yeah, and take it from someone who's been into both situations, where she where she blocked the dad and the father was absent, and now she's got an inconsistent father, inconsistent baby daddy, and it's not even coming from me, it's coming from my therapist. Okay, Life as Refilo says, hey Mandy, what would you do if you left a toxic job with no regrets, but you've been struggling to find new employment afterwards? The consequences spill in your child's life and you can't place them in the school that you hoped for, and instead you choose the second option that is far from home, requiring your 5-year-old turning 6 this year to wake up at 5 every morning. Despite doing your best, you are carrying the painful feel that you failed as a parent. You have not failed as a parent. You have not failed as a parent. Unfortunately, children have to wake up at 5 a.m. Unfortunately, children will just have to adjust. And let me tell you something about your daughter. She will never remember this 10, 15 years from now. She will not remember that she used to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. And even if she does, it's not going to be a big deal. Sometimes as parents, we put the pressure on ourselves. We believe that we failed. Lapo, your child does not think of you that way. Before I moved from Breimsig to North Riding, when I was driving from Breimsig to Sandton every time, Milan and I had to wake up at 5. And I remember feeling so stressed out about it. But then I was just like, also adjust the bra, because she's going to be waking up at 5 for the rest of her life. You know, sometimes as parents, we carry the burden of feeling like we failed and we haven't. And the fact that you're saying, Guti, this is the second option, the school that you took her in is the second option. You didn't fail. You took her to a school that was still part of your list. It's okay she didn't get into the first one, but you say she is 5 turning 6. Isn't Usanga Chica? Still apply for the school that you want for next year, for grade 1. Things can change. You can get another job. You know, and I'm glad that you don't have any regrets about leaving your job, because that can also push you over the edge. You made the right decision for yourself and for your children, and remember that your child is still in the second option of the school. It's not like you had to put her in the school that wasn't even part of your list. You are not failing. And unfortunately, your child waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, there's something that she's going to be doing for the rest of her life. She's going to be fine. She's going to adjust, and I promise you, these things won't matter to your child 10 years from now. Your child's not going to sit here when she's 15 and be like, you used to wake me up at 5 o'clock. I hate you so much for waking me up at 5. No, she's not. You are doing well. I'm proud of you for choosing yourself. And don't forget that, Uti, all kids care about is having their parents. They don't really care about the things that we care about. You are too hard on yourself. Your child is not thinking that. You have not failed as a parent at all. Rebecca says, hey Mandy, it's good to see you. My question is, what inspires your sense of style? And what's the rule of thumb when putting outfits together, because you always look glamorous? Girl! I love reading this because I don't think that I'm stylish, but you're not the first one to say so. Thank you. Pinterest. Pinterest is your best friend. For me, I always go on Pinterest before I go out. I search, let's say I'm going out for brunch. I'm going to say brunch outfits for black women. Pinterest is going to give you a plethora of options, and I also look for people with the same body type as me. So it's important to know your body type. It's important to know how to dress for your body type. And once you know your body type, actually you don't even need like anything special to know your body type. You can look at another woman and see, oh, okay, cool, me and her have the same body type. And then I copy. Sometimes it's not exactly the same dress, but I might have a similar dress. Sometimes it may not be the same pants, but I might have similar pants. But Pinterest is my friend. Every time I'm going out, if I'm going to the club, I will say club outfits for black women, lunch outfits for black women, relaxed outfits for black women. Pinterest is your best friend, and make sure that you follow people with the same body type as you. Even like TikTok sometimes, just make sure you follow people with the same body type as you. Okay, I'm going to answer the last 3. Anything goes. Hey dear. Hello my dear. You've been here for some time. What would Mandy do if her older sister was jealous of her since you were kids? And I mean not petty things, like serious things like bad mouthing you to family, not celebrating your wins and cutting and celebrating your misfortunes. Would you cut her off even if she's the only close, I'm assuming close family member? I don't stick around people who celebrate my misfortunes. And I think also you don't have to cut everyone off. But you can distance yourself from certain people. You can stop talking to her about your milestones and your misfortunes. Treat her like a family member. I think that sometimes because we see other people's relationships with their sisters, sometimes we see other people's relationships with their moms, and we think that all relationships are supposed to be like that. Some people are just blessed to have relationships with their siblings and their parents, and it's okay if you are not. It's not okay, but you know what I mean. Like you're not a horrible person. You're not an anomaly just because you don't get along with your sister. It's okay not to have a relationship with her. You probably don't have to cut her off. Like I don't think that you need to cut everyone off. But for me, I wouldn't cut her off because I'm still going to see her at family functions or whatever. I'd still talk to her like, hi, but I wouldn't share anything with her. I wouldn't talk to her about my misfortunes. I wouldn't talk to her about my milestones. Should just be like, that distant cousin with two that you see her if you see, you don't see her if you don't. I don't know if you guys live together. If you do live together, just talk less around her. Okay, Lifa says, hey Mandy, would you suggest a person stop paying for girl maintenance to cut a bit of cost if you're not doing well financially, like taking time off getting your nails, hair, lashes and waxing? The way things are so bad, I think I would have to cut out maintenance and start doing them at home. I know you always say you never stop paying your helper, and I get it, hence I'm thinking of my helper and cutting maintenance. I would definitely cut maintenance, but not cut as in not do it at all. Do it at home. There's this, I bought it at Chinatown. I bought it for Alwande. Alwande loves nails, but I'm not going to pay for a teenager's nails. So I'm just like, so I bought her like this kit. That LED light, I bought it at Chinatown. It was like 50 Rand or something. And then she uses, what are they called? Those nails you glue? I don't know, but those nails you just glue on. Stick-on nails? Yes, she uses stick-on nails. And she says they last like 2 weeks. And that's because she's got that LED light. So I would learn how to do things by myself. I already do my own hair. Once in a while, I'll go get it done. But I already do my own hair. So already that's a cut off. But if you can't do your own hair, find ways to make whatever hairstyle that you have last. If it means doing braids can last 2 to 3 months. Then do that. Yeah, nails, I would definitely do nails at home. I'm not a lashes girl, so that wouldn't be a thing for me. But I would cut that off. Waxing, I'm sorry, I could never cut waxing off. But there are people who know how to wax themselves. So if you are a brave girl, then learn how to wax yourself. You can buy the waxing strips at Clicks and other shops, or maybe take a break from waxing and use no hair cream. What else? Yeah, I learned to do my own nails. I do things at home. Being a girl is fun, you want to be pretty and you want to feel good, and when you look good, you feel good. So I wouldn't cut it off completely, but I would definitely try to do as much as I can at home. I'm going to cut this part here. I do hope that you guys enjoy this part. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one.